Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, we meet again. How are you guys doing? I hope that you guys are doing great and fine as always. Yeah, so on this special occasion, I will try to present something which is I've never done before. So it's quite interesting because this is my first time doing this, which is a research paper presentation. So without further ado, I would love to uh, tell you about the title for today's presentation. So the current presentation's title is the International Program of International Relations, or we can abbreviate it into IPIREL, Students' Intention to Create International Friendship. So really interesting topic that I'm going to discuss here. So first of all, there's some contents that I will deliver. So first of all, there will be introduction, and then the second, there will be research questions that will be to answer the research paper from what I'm conducting. So, and then the theoretical frameworks, and then research method that is used for my research paper, and then the result from what I've done, and then the discussion to discuss everything from the result I get, and then the conclusions, which I will use to conclude everything apart from my research paper. First of all, I would love to tell you the introduction first. So as you know that globalization has spread throughout the world and has changed the pattern of human life universally. We are now in an era where technology is increasingly sophisticated, such as we use mobile phones as telecommunications tools between networks, which can be used to communicate with family and friends. Speaking of friends, I know making friends is one of the most wonderful things that people ever done in their life. But right now, we are talking about friends among students, which is IPIREL students. So I know that IPIREL students are really universal. They love to create friendship among other people. But what if they don't create an international friendship with foreigners, for example? Well, this research will answer that. I will try to find the intention of the IPIREL students itself, that if whether they want to create international friendships or not. So that is the thing that I mainly discussed in my research paper. So for the research questions, there are like two. I addressed two questions to my own research paper. So the first one is, what is the IPIREL student's intention in creating international friendships? And then the second one will be, what are the benefits do the IPIREL students get from creating an international friendship, for example? So let's talk about the theoretical frameworks first. So there are many professional researchers who define what is friendship is. So like creating with how do I say, like a relationship between friends, starting from a state of mutual trust and support between allies in political sense, since we are in international relations realm, which is the scope of this study is international relations students. So there are like two things that I'm going to discuss in my theoretical framework. So first of all is the definition of friendship, and then how friendship occurs. Those two will be the foundations of my research paper. Okay, now we need to define what is friendship first. So according to someone whom I cited on his book, so friendship is a relationship paradigmatically, the relative of friendship is person. A friendship relationship is a symmetric relationship. So friendship are different from other relationships. For example, like students, teachers, employers, workers, and parent-child. They are considered as relationship, but not like actual friendship. And also like other social friendship can involve two people at the same time. So it's like meeting one individual and another individual, then it is possibly that we can create a friendship from that. It just depends on the individual, whether they accept us or vice versa. Yeah. Okay. Now talking about how friendship occurs. So according to some researchers I cited, they define that actually friendship came from psychological phenomena, which is also related to sociological phenomena. So friendship here has stages of psychological development as with other relationship, depending on the lifespan of the relationship itself. These stages, according to psychological theory, are childhood, adolescence, adulthood, and elders or people who are aging at the moment. So modern communication devices such as gender, age, and geographic locations are being introduced as effective solutions for maintaining the continuity of all friendship. What it means that continuity of all friendships, if we have these stages, same gender, and then geographic locations which is near not far away, so we don't have to talk remotely, then we can be able to maintain a perfect friendship, and we can have that friendship almost forever, like for a long time. So if we fulfill this criteria of making friendship, then we can have wonderful friends in our life. So that is the foundations of this research paper. Moving on to the empirical review. So I have reviewed not many, but several journals that that discuss the same idea but different case study, because these journals they mainly discuss about friendship and relationship. Meanwhile, my research study My case study is about student intention to create international friendships. Even though it's not that related, but still we are in the same boat. We are in the same track, which is about friendship. So according to Jane Philippi Disuk, and Andres Heinen, also Helmut Williams, they elucidated most adolescents interact online and offline, then switch between these dimensions or interact both online and offline at the same time. Distinguish the use of social network based on interest and friendship. What they tell here is that we can create friendship through internet, through online. That's why when I talk about the introduction, I mentioned about globalizations and networking. That is actually related to this review. However, it still doesn't relate to the international friendship, the intention. Meanwhile, according to Amanda Leonard, so clarifying social media plays an important role in making new friends with teens by helping teens learn more and get to know new friends. Nearly two-thirds, up to 64% of teens who make new friends online say they make new friends on social media, which is I just mentioned about making friends in social media, online, remotely, not offline. But Amanda Leonard mentions about the social media role in helping to create friendship. That's what she said in her journal. Okay, so moving on to the research method. So I'm using a qualitative method. So for this research, I decided to conduct research on several IPIREL students whom I think are suitable as research subjects for my research paper. One of the reasons why I use the IPIREL students as the interviewees is that IPIREL students become the main subject of this research. So without an appropriate interviewee, this research can be developed thoroughly. So that's why I just chose several of IPIREL students to become my interviewees, to support the progress of this research paper. So I decided to use quantitative. So it's a based on interview section. Okay, so there are like 6 questions I addressed to the interviewees, but I only choose one question, which is related to the case study that I will tell you right now. So as you can see here, I put something, like the one of the question actually. So the one of the question is like, what is your opinion about definition of making friends with foreigners, which is to indicate the occurrence of creating international friendship with foreigners exists. So the first interviewee answered that the definitions of making friends with foreigners is cultural exchange, where I'm sorry that I wrote it wrong, she added that by doing cultural exchanges, by referring the word we, can add insight into the foreign culture. Meanwhile, the second interviewee, to be personal, had the most unique opinion of all the interviewees who answered this question. So he replied that as international relations students, the key to success for IR students is to build relationships between international circles or international society, why I did first. So not only in the form of friendship, but also in the form of love or friendship. So it's kind of not only friendship, but it's like more relations, like creating a romantic relations. That's what he meant at the time. So furthermore, the third interviewee answered the definitions of making friendship with foreigners was adding like new knowledge, and like the answer from previous interviews, namely building relationship with them. So the second interviewee and the third interviewee, they shared a little bit similar answer regarding to these questions. So yeah, we can see that they have intention. They can give the benefits from the foreigners itself. That's why they tend to find out from the foreigners itself, from the friendship itself. So that's what I meant in these questions. Actually, there are a lot, but not all of them relate to this research paper a lot. Like not too deeply, not too implicitly. They just like mentioned a little bit about the international friendship intention. Okay, so now moving on to the discussion, I guess, and yeah, something like from all the interviewees, the answer. Me as the writer can conclude that they have an intention to establish friendship relations with foreigners. And of course, each interviewee expects an outcome from that friendship, which is I mentioned about before. So the reason why I said explicitly captivating answers from them, because the interviewees have directly supported this journal progress, research paper progress. One of them is one of the interviewees who is interviewed has the same interest and intention in choosing foreigners who wants to be friends. Like there is one interviewee who wants to be friend with Japanese due to their interesting culture, and other ones want to be with Latin American people since he knows a lot about Hispanic cultures. But not only that, one of the interviewees also has the same opinion as me, as the writer of this research paper. So in which he answered one of the questions that was asked, namely, do you ever think that being friends with foreigners is hard? For instance, shyness and not having enough courage are the problems when we encounter foreigners for the first time, which is relatable why IPIREL students tend to not create international friendship. Those two are the main problems in their mind and heart. Okay, so now moving on to the conclusion. So I can conclude that, how do I say, like some of the intentions, some of the intention IPO students who become the main race in this study were to learn more about their culture. So not only that, the other intention is to study and work hard so that students can become like foreigners. In other words, participate in learning together in terms of education and privilege activities. So for this reason, strong intentions are needed because of to establish good friendships must be accompanied by sincere intentions and willingness, you know. As a writer, I really want this research to be a direction for students who are interested in the international world in growing an intention to make friends with foreigners. And of course, making friends with them will have positive impact for them as well and will certainly produce beneficial results for everyone around them. So I think that's all from me. Thank you so much for listening to my presentations. I hope that everything are delivered smoothly and perfectly. So see you guys again in the next project. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.